For every hospitality business around the world, the menu is a critical asset. And on the Kookaburra platform, it's no different. So let's take a look now at our menu section and how to build out a drill-worthy menu that's going to help increase your revenue and customer base. So here we are on the menus page. As you can see from the sidebar, we are underneath the section of food, and then we're in the subsection of menus. Now, this actually ties in with a couple of other subsections that you should know about as well. So I'll just explain those first. Before we go ahead and put together a menu, we would like to have some recipes in place. Otherwise, we can't put together a menu without our recipes done. So you'll want to head in and do things like set up your ingredients, set up your recipes first, and after you've done that, potentially set up your menu sections as well. So I'm just going to go back to the recipes here. Once you've put in each of your recipes, you'll notice that in the second column here, we've got menu section. Right, so if we can create different menu sections, for example, starters, mains, soups, meal packs like we've got here, we can then go ahead and add those menu sections next to each recipe. And with that section completed, with that bit completed, we're now ready to go and create a menu using the recipes that we have in our database. Let's go over to one of our venues on the Kookaburra platform and see what that looks like. So here we are over with the team from Al Dente, and we've clicked through to check out their menu. You can see across the top of the menu here, we have their different menu sections. This week's specials, snacking specials, filled pasta, meat, seafood, and you can see each of the recipes is categorized under the sections, making it easier for your customers to view the menu. The same way it would be if you went to a restaurant. If you had entrees, mains, desserts, drinks, and they would be in different categories, you can do the same thing here with your menu. So if we head back over to our food section, let's have a look at menus. Here we can see that there's been some previous menus created for this particular business. And if we have a look down the left-hand side, we can see a couple of different options. There are 4 different statuses that your menus might have. They are closed, draft, open, and scheduled. As the name suggests, if it's closed, this is a menu that's been in the past. If it's open, it's a menu that is available to order from right now. A draft menu is a menu that you're working on but hasn't gone live. And a scheduled menu is a menu that you've created to launch in the future. So one thing that you could do with your menus, if you knew that your menu was going to remain the same for a month, is create all of your menus for the month ahead. And rather than doing them each week, which has its advantages, you might like to batch that task as well and set up the entire month. There's 2 different ways that you can create menus. If you're doing this for the first time, you will not have any menus in the white box right in the middle of the screen, which means that you'll need to press the green button that says create a menu and start from scratch. However, when you're adding menus week to week, a quicker way to do that is to just head to the right-hand side of all of this section here, and you can click the duplicate button. If you duplicate a menu, it will literally take every bit of information from that menu, including all of the recipes, the menu newsletter that you've got ready to send out, the notification, and even if you have any other coupons set up with it, all of that will come over. So it's important to know that if you duplicate a menu, everything from that section will come over with it. So we strongly suggest that if you do duplicate, make sure to have a look through and check that you are happy with all the information. And if you want to make some small changes, particularly when it comes to your communications with the guests and your customers, because sometimes they can catch on if they're receiving the exactly same worded email each week. So let's have a look at duplicating a menu. Now I just want to show you something really quickly. If we press create menu, all of the sections here are blank for us to get started. And we have all of our recipes down the left-hand side that we can add in. If I keep scrolling down here, our customer notifications and pickup window are all essentially blank as well, ready for us to fill out. However, if we head back over here and hit the duplicate button, we can, let's say we duplicate one that has finished in the past. We need to set a open time and a closed time, and then we can duplicate the menu. When you hit duplicate, this is what your menu will look like. You can see that on the right hand side the menu's already been completed and filled out. We just selected some open and close times for it, and it'll also bring over any emails that we have set up as well, including the menu description, which you might like to change each week. So if we head back here, your menu description is this small blurb that you can put there. Okay, let's head on back over. We'll go back to the menu and begin creating our menu for the first time. Starting with your menu name. When it comes to your menu name, we strongly suggest that you have a naming convention. That means some consistency to your naming. So you could use the month and year with the week ending date, or you might like to choose the season if you change your menu by seasons, whichever's going to work for you to allow you to recognize which menu you're working from. But also if you want to duplicate something, for example, if you have a Christmas offer, Valentine's Day offer, maybe an Easter menu, the next year you could go back to last year's Easter menu and duplicate that if you wanted to use similar hampers or have a look at what you did previously. Only you can see the menu names. As you move down, your menu description, if you'd like to, you can use the same menu description each week, or you can choose to add a small touch to it that helps people recognize potentially why this menu is different. Or if you've got some new items or meal deals on the menu, make sure to mention those in there to draw people's attention to it. Your menu image on the right-hand side will be the image that appears when people click through from the main Kookaburra Marketplace. So here we are in the main Kookaburra Marketplace. And if I was to click through to Maria's Pasta, your menu image is this one here underneath our open menus. Okay, let's head back. So now we've completed the menu image, name, and description. Let's move on to the menu timing. This is the time that you want to open and close your menu. The same as your opening hours for a venue, if you have a venue. It's a really good idea to remain consistent with these. You can see on the left-hand side, there's a small tip on potentially giving 3 to 4 days for people to order. If you have the same opening hours of your menu each week, then your regular customers and customers checking you out will begin to recognize when they can order from you. And that's really important to make sure that they know when they can order and you don't miss out on any of their orders as well. So when you do get into a rhythm, try to keep that consistent. Now we get on to building our menu. On the left-hand side here, we can see all of the recipes that we've created inside the Kookaburra platform. Now we can move those recipes over to our menu on the right-hand side. But first, let's have a look at some of the options that we have here. At the top, we can search for a particular item. On the right-hand side, you could filter for a particular item or meal pack, and maybe by the section that you've put it under, as we looked at earlier on. The third line across, or category across, you can see it says recently used. So if the number 1 in this category is highlighted green, it means that it was used in last week's menu. Number 2 means it was used in the menu 2 weeks ago, and so on and so forth for the last 5 weeks. Items that are highlighted 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 have been on the menu for the last 5 weeks. Right next to that, we can see the average number of units sold when it is on the menu, and then we have the option to add there as well. So let's go ahead and start adding some of these items in. We can see that straight away they will bounce over to the right-hand side as our menu starts to form. Now, because we have put sections next to some of these items, they will automatically categorize into sections nice and easy for you. So let's add a few more in, and then let's take a look. A couple of options that you have when it comes to your menus is by changing the section order. So you can feel free to move those up and down if you'd like to do that. And what that will do over on your menu is move them from left to right. If it's number 1 at the top of your menu sections, it will be on the left. If it's at the bottom of your menu sections, it'll be on the right-hand side. Or the first thing people see, all the way through to the last thing people see. We can then save that section order. And we can do the same thing with our items. So if you want to click the up or down arrow, we can change it from the first thing people see to the last thing people see, and so on. Just hit the X on the right-hand side if you want to remove it. And up the top here, we've got a convenient goes well with button that you can add in there. Once you've completed your menu and you're happy, we can move on down to managing stock. This section here allows you to limit the number of or quantity of meals or a particular item that you can sell through your menu. So this is really handy if, for example, your kitchen only has capacity to make, let's say, 50 pumpkin soups. Up the top here, as we can see, if it's on our menu, then we could add in the quantity of 50 here. And what will happen is if we get to 5 left, for example, if we sell 45 of those pumpkin soups, it will mark the item as low stock. And once it hits 50 sales of that particular item, it will mark it as sold out, making sure that you never oversell any of the items that you want to mark specifically for your stock levels. On the right-hand side here as well, you can choose your visibility of that item on the menu, and on the right-hand side, all the way over to the right-hand side, you can see if you want this item to be on your shopping list. So if you're the kind of person who has a weekly rhythm where you're taking your menu orders, then you're doing your shopping or ordering, then you're preparing your items ready for pickup or delivery, you can choose whether you'd like this one particularly added to your shopping list. Okay, let's keep moving down here and have a look at our pickup and delivery windows. Here is where you get to control your weekly rhythm. Once you've prepared all of the meals, we have 2 different options. If you would like to make these meals available for pickup, you can add in the pickup window, and that could be, let's say, 3 hours before you open for business. It could be during a slow time if you open as a venue. And you can add some pickup notes there as well. Those pickup notes could include things like the certain location where the order is being ready for pickup that might not be your counter, it might be somewhere else. And on the right-hand side at the tabs, doing the same thing with the delivery window. Now, when it comes to your delivery windows, if you have created different delivery zones, the different delivery zones would be over in the settings and pickup and delivery. Down here where we have 5 delivery zones. When we go back to our menu and we click on the draft that we're working on, what you can do here with your delivery zones is add in a different delivery time or window for each zone. So for example, if you wanted to deliver all of your north side deliveries between a certain 3-hour block and all of your south side deliveries in the 3-hour block after that, you can set up 2 different delivery windows so customers can expect, it gives you more control, and customers can expect different timing of their deliveries. One last thing before we move down and check out your menu emails is the customer order deadline. On the right-hand side here, you can see if I click this button here, it allows me to override the menu closing time for pickup or delivery, which means that giving you full control, which means that if you want to shut the menu earlier for pickups only, or maybe for deliveries only in a certain zone, you can go ahead and do that. Click the customer order deadline button and make sure to add in your own time and date for a certain zone, pickup or delivery. If you'd like to add some delivery notes, you can go ahead and do that there, so you can communicate well to your customers. And now here we are in our customer notifications. The two sections that we have here are your menu opening email and your menu closing reminder email. Your menu opening email, of course, is you sending out to all of the people in your customer database that your menu is open for the week. We highly suggest that you tweak this a little bit each week so it doesn't look like the same description. It doesn't look like they're getting a template email. Anything that's new about your menu, cool about your brand, or a little story is perfect for this. Go ahead and pop that in there. You can hit the preview button before you send it off to make sure it reads well, and then it will send out at the time listed just above the preview button. Further down, your menu closing reminder email is critical and one of your greatest marketing tools. Businesses that use this on a regular basis and send one out the night before their menu closes increase their orders by 30%. We strongly suggest that you send it out the night before your menu closes. The last thing that we're looking at on the menus page is the advanced settings. So let's take a look down the bottom here. To give you further control over who sees this menu, you can select a group of particular customers that you have created earlier to send this out to. The way that we do that is in the customers section under the subsection groups. Now over here, we'll allow you to create different groups of customers. You can do them custom, or if you click on the filter, you can see that we've already pre-built some in there. People who have never placed an order from you yet, people that haven't placed an order in a certain number of days, people that are tagged, and insert a number of other places that we could do here. For example, delivery zone if you only wanted to do a hyper-local menu. Now, why is that important? Why wouldn't we want to send out the menu to everybody? Well, because you can create multiple menus within the same week. So just to elaborate on that a little bit before we finish up, over here, when people click through and check out your menu from the Kookaburra Marketplace, you'll notice that there's a middle page. This page here has all of your open menus. Most weeks, you'll only have one open menu, but at events such as Easter, Christmas, maybe Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, or potentially International Women's Day, what about opening up for November and December for corporates to send potential hampers or gifts to their clients? There's a number of occasions through the year where you might like to set up a second menu that has different items on it. For example, have your normal menu selling all the food that you usually do each week for people to have at home, and a second menu that has gifts, hampers, vouchers, bottles of wine, things like that that people might send to clients or to loved ones as gifts at a certain time of the year. So if that's the case, you can head back to the menus like we were looking at before, and the same way that we created one menu, we can also create a second menu and open it as well. On the left-hand side, you'll notice that the status of both menus will be open, and when you go to your page on the Kookaburra Marketplace, you will see two menus that are open there. They can be open and closed at different times, and you can have pickup and delivery for those at different times. If you have a long lead time, for example, Christmas hampers, you might have that menu open for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe even 4 weeks. So it is possible to have multiple menus open at the same time. Okay, so once you've completed all of this and set up your menu, you can head down the bottom and hit Preview Menu and take a look at what it's going to look like to your customers. And if you're happy with everything there, go ahead and hit Save Menu down the bottom. So there you have it. I'll leave you to go and set up your first menu using the recipes that you have in the Kookaburra platform. And as always, if you need help, reach out on the Facebook community or you can reach out to the Kookaburra team at any time. Bye for now.